So Ezreal has been a topic for conversation this last week, seeing as his buffs to his items came through. And apparently Showmaker's been chokeslamming the Korean ladder like the Undertaker with Frozen Heart on Ezreal mid of all things. Now, there's three main reasons for why this build exists, and I'll explain them all in this video, but I first heard about this Ezreal mid build from one of my millions of subscribers, at which point I thought this must be their attempt at Shane Dawsoning me out of LP. So naturally I decided to try it out in a ranked game, and my score at the end of the game was something along the lines of 23, 3, and 16. Yeah. But I lost, so I don't know guys, the build, there's definitely some better options out there, like, I don't know, going back to playing fucking Kai'Sa every game when this gets nerfed into the Earth's core. No, it seems Showmaker's onto something here. I guess he's somewhat of a competent player, the more you know. He has created an absolute monster with his Ezreal mid build. Now, reason number one for building Frozen Heart third item is that combined with the health from Divine Sunder, you become damn near indestructible, like a Soviet T-34 rolling up on Hitler in World War II. Except there's 5 Hitlers, and 9 if you count the ones on your team. And as you can see here, we all died to secure ourselves the Cloud Soul, which is interesting because Cloud Soul, I'm pretty sure, is the only soul that doesn't automatically win us this game. Plus, we gave them shutdowns and mid inhibitors, so that was worth it. That was worth it. So now we mount an incredible defense at our inhibitor tower, right? We wipe 3, we go to push mid inhibitor, but time flies when you're having fun and the enemy is already respawning, so no more fun, at least for me. As you can see, my Aatrox decided this was the perfect time and weather to fuck me in the ass and just strolls into the enemy jungle with an Evelynn in the game. So now we can't really recall safely anymore. We have to walk back. But since we're now missing our top laner, they feel safe to push us 5 and look for an end. Now, we saw them on the minimap. So this guy must actually be blind in real life. At which point, my Kassadin felt comfortable revealing that he got kicked out of his high school band for deep-throating the trombone. If sucking dick was like playing the violin, this guy's the first chair without a doubt. Now mind you, he blind picked Kassadin. I watched him blind pick Kassadin, and the enemy team picked Tristana mid, and I was just okay with that. Honestly, how this guy didn't go 0-66 is by itself pretty impressive. But it's at 33 minutes into the game when I'm finally seeing the consequences of not dodging the blind pick Kassadin kind of player. But it's now at this point that I make an incredible defensive play. This is that 300 Spartans type of defense. So this is the perfect opportunity to point out reason number 2 for why we build Frozen Heart on Ezreal, which is actually another pretty clever use for the Frozen Heart. Since it gives mana, that mana gets turned into AD via Muramana, thus actually making Frozen Heart into a pseudo damage item, while also giving the most armor out of any item in the game alongside randoms, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. It's even more nutty in this game because for some ungodly reason the enemy team picked 3 AD carries and somehow my jungler just didn't abuse them like a loving father. The things that happen, I don't really understand sometimes. I lost this game. I lost this game. Maybe this is why I'm making this video, just so someone else can see what I go through on a daily basis. This is like Gordon Ramsay cooking food under a bridge for 4 hobos. This is absolutely outrageous. Now, reason number 3, it's that this item is the perfect power spike for Ezreal. Especially as a solo laner where you don't necessarily want to be a total glass cannon, this allows you to skirmish pretty freely at 3 items. Ezreal mid or bot has always been known for his like 2 item power spike, but with Frozen Heart, kind of like Iceborne Gauntlet of seasons prior, it becomes kind of like a 2.5 item power spike. Now I say 2.5. One, because it's extremely cheap, right? 2,500 for this item, all stats that are really good for Ezreal, mana, ability haste. The armor's nice too with the health from Divine Sunder. But 2, because you don't really utilize the item's passives at all. If you ever find yourself as Ezreal in a position where you're utilizing the passive where you slow people's attack speed, then I would say you're not playing Ezreal particularly well. So you're really getting half of an item, and mind you, Frozen Heart isn't a good item on champs that are supposed to be building it in the first place. But in the case of Ezreal, it's kind of like the stars aligned with Muramana and Divine Sunder being really strong that enables this extremely cheap item to come in for the 2.5 item power spike. Now let it be known that I actually don't think that you should be building this item every game. I think Serylda's and Ravenous are infinitely better items just in general, simply because you're not just getting stats, you're getting full value for the items. Frozen Heart is good if you don't particularly need damage and more just raw survivability. But even then, I personally would just prefer Ravenous over Frozen Heart for that, because you get survivability and lifesteal, plus you get damage. Or even Death's Dance. It's also a pretty valuable item that gives you both damage, armor, and survivability if you need that. So again, I think it's a cool little hack, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's good for every scenario. As for the game, I don't even want to talk about it. We fight at Elder Drake. They end up getting it, and then we try to fight them while they had Elder. Listen, I don't know. I could have pinged my team off. Why even bother? I just wanted to be free from this game. I thought that I could one-shot them all, but as it turns out, this champ sucks. Honestly, buff Ezreal, he's just so weak right now, and thus resulting in my loss with a grand total of 23 kills, 3 deaths. I only died 3 times this game. 3 times. And 16 assists. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like to tickle my pickle. That really helps me a lot. And I'll see you guys soon. Roll the outro. Bitch!